I'll take care of it, Nicole.
Okay. Good evening. I'm Nicole Consul Mateo, and on behalf of the more than 12 Cleveland Kręcowania volunteer organizers, I welcome you to the 10th annual Cleveland Kręcowania. Dobrodošli. This evening, we are pleased to present two programs. Over the next hour, we will be hearing from the Slovenian Consul General, Alenka Jerak, regarding consular services to support Slovenian citizens. Last year, the Consul General's presentation regarding dual citizenship was extremely popular and led us to request her to return back with this as a follow-up session. Following the Consul General's presentation, we'll take a short break and return at 7:45 p.m. Eastern with Dr. Luka Žibelnik, Professor of Slovenian Language, for a fun virtual night out in Ljubljana. We will learn together the basic language skills as we enjoy a night out on the town. As we celebrate the 10-year anniversary of Cleveland Kręcowania, we acknowledge and appreciate all of those who have made Cleveland Kręcowania what it is today. Thanks to the unwavering support and enthusiasm for participants like you, over the last decade, the festival has grown from a single-day event to a multi-day arts, culture, and music festival. Not only are we Cleveland's largest Mardi Gras celebration, but we have North America's largest collection of currency, and we attract people from all walks of life throughout Northeast Ohio, the United States, and now with virtual events like the one tonight, countries beyond, including Canada, Australia, Argentina, and Slovenia. Over the course of the last 10 years, we have been assisted, supported, and sponsored by countless individuals and organizations. You, the attendees, numerous volunteer organizers, our generous supporters and sponsors, our partners and grantors, the many, many presenters, performers, and event volunteers who have shared their time and talent with us. To everyone who has graciously supported us by your participation with the festival in any capacity over the last 10 years, we say, Hvala lijepa. Thank you very much. As I mentioned, our first presenter this evening is Slovenian Consul General Alenka Jerak. Since August 2019, Ms. Jerak has been serving as the Slovenian Consulate General here in Cleveland, Ohio. Ms. Jerak is a career diplomat. Prior to her role in Cleveland, she served in the Slovenian embassies around the world, working in various roles in the Slovenian embassies in Switzerland, Germany, the Netherlands, and Croatia, as well as numerous positions with the Slovenian Ministry of Foreign Affairs. I did want to make mention that the Consulate General of the Republic of Slovenia in Cleveland is the only professional diplomatic or consular representation in the city of Cleveland and in the entire state of Ohio. The start of today's presentation is pre-recorded. After the Consul General's presentation, we'll return live with her for a Q&A session. So as you're viewing today's presentation, I invite you to send us your comments and questions in our YouTube and Facebook live streams. Then we'll cover the questions with the Consul General. Please keep in mind that very specific questions to your personal circumstances are best to be sent directly to the Consul General's office outside of this event. Our office's contact info is posted in the event description. Today's session will be recorded and available for you to revisit anytime in the future via our YouTube or Facebook channels. And now, without further ado, I welcome the Slovenian Consul General, Alenka Jerak.
Dobar večer, good evening, and thank you for being with us again. I will proceed like last year, speaking in English, because I know that most of you understand some Slovenian, but probably for the topics that we will have on our plate today, probably it will be much easier for you and for us to speak English. Last year, we have focused on one specific topic, and that was citizenship. It was a lot of interest. We had many visitors. Later, we received additional questions on our Consul General, and most of all, a lot of new applications. So it seems that this kind of sharing information is helpful for all of you. So we decided with Kurentovanje board and organizers to go on this year as well. But this year, I would like to focus on two topics, two things. First of all is what kind of consular services we can provide you and which services we cannot or we are not allowed to. And the second thing is I would like to address the most common mistakes that Slovenian citizens in the US are making in relation to their Slovenian citizenship obligations, not intentionally, not being aware, or maybe you just didn't have time to do that, but it is important to keep your citizenship in, how would I express myself, in good shape. But before I go on, I would like to introduce you my team. We are a very, as you know, very small Consulate General. We are 3 employees, including me as a head. And then we have Olivera Baumgartner. She is the new help from last year, and she is in charge for the logistical support of the events. She is taking care of our website, which I have to admit, right, is not very new, and it is work in progress because we have some problems with access to the website. And as I said, she's in charge for most of the events. So in case you will need her, you know whom to reach. And another one who will be the first contact point for you, and many of you, I'm aware you already know or contacted, is our Nea Tur.
Hello, everyone.
She's been with us for the 4th years, and she is the main person and the most important person for you to contact regarding the consular issues that you have, regarding actually everything. She is answering the phone, but she's taking care also a lot of other things at the consulate, and we are happy to have her. Now, let's go to the list of the consular service that we do provide. So we are representing Slovenia in 10 states. Besides Ohio, it is Illinois, Minnesota, Pennsylvania, Colorado, Indiana, Wisconsin, Iowa, and Missouri. Saying that means that we are territorial, limited to provide consular services and functions for you, Slovenian citizens. We exercise all consular functions only within our consular district or territory, and those are those 10 states. But in exercising our obligations and tasks are also limited by Slovenian and, of course, federal state laws and local practices. So we cannot act without any limitations, even for you as a Slovenian citizens. We are exercising many other functions besides consular functions. We are, as you know, probably representing Slovenia and promoting it. Develop friendly relations with all 10 federal states that I mentioned in the area of economics, culture, science, education, entrepreneurs, business, of course. We are helping and taking care of interests of Slovenian community, which I will address also with the new mayor Bip this week. We are holding polls for election. This year in Slovenia, we have a big election year. We have parliamentarian elections in April. We have presidential elections later in fall and local elections for the mayors of the cities. I think around November. The date has not been set yet. But mostly we are providing Slovenians, that means Slovenian individuals as well as companies, consular service and assist and taking care of their interests. Now, I will just list the cases. For example, in the case of death, for example, we are issuing post-mortem passport. We safeguard your interests after death of your relatives. For example, we help you looking for existence of heirs and their addresses, etc. We take care of the interest of minors and other persons lacking full capacity. I'm talking about Slovenian citizens, of course. We help detained or imprisoned Slovenian citizens, help in case of stolen documents or maybe robberies for the tourists or you as with the residents here, help in case of accidents and illnesses, help in case of missing citizens, help in administrative and registry matters. We are acting as a civilian register, performing certain administrative functions, which we will address a little bit later. And of course, we are issuing passports and travel documents and permits of residence, and of course, visas for the foreigners. And we are providing many activities within international legal aid, like transmitting judicial and other types of documents, looking for existence of heirs, what I already mentioned, their addresses. We extradite documents, certificates, signatures, copies of documents, and documents themselves. But we can also help you in obtaining a certificate. In Slovenian is that called Sigenca. Custom certificates in case you are moving back to Slovenia, pension records, and other informations. But the most important now is to remember what we can't do for you because we are not allowed to. We cannot act as a diplomatic consular representative. We cannot act like a notary. For example, if you want to sell your land or property in Slovenia and register that in the land register, we cannot do that for you because this is notary business. Notary has to do that. We cannot perform civil weddings. We cannot lend you money. We cannot help you in registration of your tax residency. We will return to this question. What is tax residency and what is the residency itself? We cannot require, for example, the Slovenian court to issue the decision for you and instead of you. We cannot open your bank account in Slovenia and this kind of things. Now I would like to address some topics and questions that we as in a practice that we notice that are most common. First of all, NEA is in charge for that, but we are both appealing to you. Before coming in person or sending mailing documents, please do contact us by phone, by mail. NEA is there answering regularly all call phones, emails, voice messages. In case that we are in the phone conversation, please call us again or leave the message.
Yes, we try to get back to you
Yeah.
the same day. We try
Yeah.
to write you an email back responding to you. But please just be patient and understanding because it's busy. It can be really busy in our office. Just try to call us back if you cannot get hold of us right away.
Maybe we can give the email, the general email and the phone.
The general email is slowconsulate.cleveland@gov.si and phone number is 216-771-7010. So that's the number that you can reach us over the phone and email. Again, you can also find these contact informations on our website, Slovenian Consulate Cleveland, email as well as phone number. So go ahead, you wanted to start?
Yeah, I wanted to add that it is important to call us because of few things to clarify. First of all, to set day and time of your visit, because we have many clients. We are pretty cool, especially full with the timetable, especially now during the COVID, and we need to obey some restrictions that only one family or one person can be in our consular waiting room and this kind of things, and check whether you have collected all the necessary documents. And of course, if you have correct forms, most of all, you can find everything on our website. We try to be as accurate as possible to put the new forms when we got them from our capital, Ljubljana. But please check this first before sending in the documents.
Call us, and
Yeah.
make sure if you want, you can scan copies of documents that you have. We will check all of them, and then we will let you know if anything's missing.
Mhm.
So we'll be more than happy to help you with that. So
And another thing is to check the correct consular amount of your money order for consular fee. Namely, fees are changing, consular fees are changing due to the exchange rate, euro dollar each month. And we need to have the correct amount of the consular fee on your money orders. So this is the second reason that we really ask you to call us, because if we don't have the correct amount, then you need to write another one or resend another one, and this is pretty complicated for us, for the accountants of the consulate. Do we have something else, or can we switch to
we can with passports.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
We will start then with the passports. Now, you know that for application for the passport, you need to come in person. Why? Because we need to have your signature and we need to have your fingerprints. The most important thing is also, which is a common mistake most of the times, right, Naya, is
Yes.
photo. You are bringing not adequate photos for the Slovenian biometrical passports. We are a little bit, I have to say, more serious about those photos than the US authorities with their passports. So our photos for the passports needs to be precise size. You have to have the full face, actually head, to along with your hair, with your ears, with your chins and everything, because there it happens that people bring, for example, photos which is cut somewhere here or like here, which is not good and we cannot accept, and it will be rejected. So
Yeah.
that's why
In
we are.
that case, you will have to retake your photo.
Yes, and there is another thing on your on our website. You have shablon
Yeah, sure.
that shows how the size of the photo, the colors that needs to be clearly seen. It is about the colors at the back. It should be one color, not two or three. It should be light. Read those instructions and
The
you will see
instructions
them.
are on website
Yes.
about the photo, and you can go through it, and we can also send you as well,
Yeah.
you know, the directions
Yeah.
for a correct photo.
And I would like to point something else, and this is timing to request for a new passport. I know that COVID is a COVID time and pandemic time is maybe more time to do the things that you haven't done. But please do not come in and renew your passports if they are valid still 1 year, for example, because then you are taking time slots for people who really need their new passport, which will expire, I don't know, in maybe 1 month, 2 months, and they plan to travel. So please, adequate, I think time, it will be about 3 months or something
Before
like this
expiration, yeah.
before expiration. We would really appreciate it, because then somebody who really need to get a new passport will wait for for some time. We are getting passports pretty quickly. Now the waiting time is
2 weeks.
2 weeks, something
or
like
less.
this. Even less, maybe 10 days. It depends also how they are producing in Ljubljana, because we are getting them from Ljubljana, from our capital. But I don't remember that anybody would
Wait more than 2 weeks.
Exactly, more than 2 weeks. Then what we are coping along is registration or change of your residence, permanent or temporary. You know that if you are moving out of Slovenia, they give you for much longer time than 3 months. Then you need to register. If you are moving permanently, then please register your permanent address abroad. If you are moving just for, I don't know, study for 6 months, a year, that is then temporary residence, but you need to register it as well. Because the administrative authorities may issue a decision to withdraw your registration for a permanent residence in Slovenia if you don't register. And this is the case that we had last year and the year before, because they are
Many people had,
yes, many people didn't do that. Simply either they forgot, either they don't think it's important, but it is. It's also important for your rights, but it's also important for your obligations. As to the tax residency, this is something special and it's not related. If you, for example, if you are moving out of Slovenia and you change your residency, let's say permanent residency, you moved or you married here in the USA, you need to do also your tax residency directly with the taxation authorities in Slovenia. Unfortunately, they don't allow us to interfere in this kind of affairs and issues and help you to put your request to them or something like this. They want everybody, either is it individual or a company, to contact them directly. You can find also on our website all the informations and whom to contact and where you can find forms for them.
As far as changing the address here, if you move here in the United States from one state to another, just please update your address. We will send you a form before you would apply for a passport. Would send you a form to change your address, to register your current address. And we also would ask you to provide us either driving license or any kind of document that shows your new address.
Right.
So that's very important before you apply for a Slovenian passport. So we have current address in a Slovenian registry.
Yeah. If you haven't done so, we usually change your address when you are coming to renew or ask for the give away application for the new passport. But you need to do that before applying, either renewing it, either asking for the new passport. Another important thing is also related with the passports and other things is registration of change of your personal status. As you have to change it here in the US, if you have dual citizenship or just Slovenian one, you need to do that also in Slovenia. This is some kind of obligation out of your citizenship in Slovenia. That means those cases are, for example, birth, marriage, divorce, death, or change of your first or last name. To register this kind of things like birth, death, marriage, divorce, besides the original document, translation in Slovenian is needed and apostille with translation. In case of divorce, you would need also a translation of court decision, original decision, court decision, and translation in Slovenian and apostille. You have all instructions for those cases and also forms on our website. And please, again, right, Naya,
Yeah.
she is answering your mails and she's getting your actual hard copies
So
and mails.
it's
Before sending in the documents, please do again contact us, phone us, use our mail address, and call us to check whether you have right documents or not. And again, as to the changing consular fee, again, we need to have correct amount on your money order that you are sending in together with the documents.
so it usually the amount, the fee is changing monthly, but it's not that big of a difference, either $1, $2. Just we need to tell you the exact amount so you can write on your money order that you buy your money order with that. So
Exactly. Now, the third thing, I will not talk a lot about the citizenship because we did this topic last year for an hour seminar, and we were answering your questions, many of questions. The only thing what we see is, and we are appealing to you, is related to the FBI certificate. Let it be the last document that you will collect. Why? Because it is not supposed to be, actually, it must be older than 3 months. And beside the original, you will need translation and apostille, which has to be translated as well. This is very important because usually it is, I think it's a line, it's some time to get it, especially now during the pandemic.
it takes a long
time, and when you collect all the other documents, it's already expired. So you need to get a new one for the Slovenian authorities. And second things with the citizenships documents are documents from Slovenia. We are getting different kind of documents. For example, Ellis Island confirmations of your parents, grandparents, whoever came over. But those are not Slovenian documents that you need for the citizenship application. Those are American documents. You need to bring us documents from Slovenian. Certificate of birth, certificate of marriage, even
any kind of documents that it proves that the person, the grandfather or grandmother, that they were born in Slovenia, that they were Slovenian. So this, what Consul General is talking about, it's she's talking about extraordinary naturalization, when you have to obtain birth certificate of grandfather or grandmother or father. It has to be Slovenian, from Slovenia. And the best way would be if you have any relatives in Slovenia who can help you obtain that document, or you can also turn to genealogy in Cleveland. We can give you contact information if you call us, so we'll be more than happy to help you in this respect.
Okay. Now we will switch to visas. It's not only for the third countries, but also for example, American students or American citizens who are who would like to spend more than 3 months, which is normally without any visas or something, to enter and live in Slovenia. And of course, also the residence permits. We have temporary residence permits up to 1 year. And after 5 years of the residence, you can get temporary, you can get actually a permanent one. First, about the visas that our consulate is issuing. Very rarely we are issuing a visum A. This is the transit, or as we are calling it, it's a transit visum up to 7 days if you are transiting and you need it. But Americans do not needed to enter the Schengen states, including Slovenia. Then we have a tourist visum. This is visum C, a Schengen visum, which allows you to stay 90 days in 180 days. It's a special calculation. Don't bother with that. We will take care of this. It is mostly for tourism or business or even transit. It is for the third countries because American citizens to stay, I stated again, up to 90 days or 3 months, it's not necessary to have the visum. But what you would need in case that you are staying longer in Slovenia is so-called visa D or national visa. And it allows you to stay from 3 months or 90 days up to 1 year. There are certain conditions who can get this kind of visa and what for purposes. For example, if it's a family reunion with the Slovenian or the EU citizens, if it is doing research, education, if you're going to the seminar, if you have a longer business trip or attending conferences, for example, diplomats, journalists, and correspondents who are going to work in Slovenia for a longer time, priests, for example, or humanitarian workers who have business to do there, and for example, athletes for the sport reasons. And here in this section, it includes also Fulbright scholarships or ASEF, for example, if they are standing longer. But in case that you get visa D, you cannot work, regular work, ordinary work. In that case, you will have to ask for the work permission at the Slovenian authorities when you are going to be there. It is just for staying. Yes, studying or a business like and to have a seminar or to have, I don't know, to be educator for some events, but not regular work. In the case that you intend to work there, we have this kind of residence permits. Most of them, they are temporary, up to 1 year. And it is again for work, study, family reunion, also for you as a Slovenian community till third generation. You can get residence permit. We will help you at the consulate with the application. We are conducting interviews, and we are taking fingerprints necessary for the application. First application need to be done outside Slovenia. That means at our consulate in our case, but it can be also done time to time. It depends on the circumstances in Slovenia due to somebody who is representing you or the person. Either is this some kind of educational institution like university, it might be also the company that you intend to work with, and so on and so forth. And with this permit enable you also to travel to other Schengen states, but up to 90 days, not more. For both, you will get forms on internet, but you will have to come to our consulate because of taking fingerprints in person. Besides, you will find also on our internet what kind of documents you will need beside your valid passports, which in this case, if you are applying for the residence permit, the passport need to be valid 3 months more before expired, 3 months more than you intend to stay. And you will need, for example, some kind of documents like insurance, like that you have sufficient means for the living and in Slovenia and support yourself and this kind of things. Related to the residence permits, I would just like to mention, which is maybe much more interesting for you as a Slovenian community and citizens, it is property rights. I would like to state now, because we get this question many times: how can I buy a property in Slovenia or land? For buying a property, there is no problem at all. You don't need to have citizenship. You can buy a property without citizenship. We have long-standing agreement. It exists from 81, 81, and it is actually an agreement between the US and at that time Serbia, which allows US citizens to buy a property in Slovenia. But the rest of the things you will have to see either notary, either somebody who will act on behalf of you there and negotiate the price and the contract and everything. But I wanted just to state it out again that you don't need to have Slovenian citizenship to buy a property in Slovenia. I was asked, is there something else, Nea, that we forgot or we have to state out before we finish?
So yes, lots of times people are calling from California or Florida, and they're saying, I was born in Ohio and I would like to apply for citizenship. So for applying to obtaining your citizenship, it goes by your current address, so where you live. If you live in Florida, you have to contact embassy in Washington. It's not where you were born. You will have to obtain those documents from the state where you were born, but it goes by your current address where you live. So that I would state for sure. It's very common that lots of clients are calling for that, and they would like to apply to our consulate. So we give them the contact information from the embassy.
Right. As we pointed out at the beginning, we have certain territorial jurisdiction, and we have to obey it. So our Consul General is covering those 10 states that we mentioned, but not the states out of it. Even if you were born in them, that doesn't mean, as Nea said, that you will apply it with our consulate. Our colleagues at the embassy are also as busy as we are. Maybe they will not answer your phone right away, but they will for sure come back to you either via phone call, either via email, but they will come back to you. Don't give up. Yes, we are busy, and if we are on another line, we cannot take your line. This is
We
normal.
will be more than happy. Yes, the very day that you call, if not next day, that we respond either email or we return your call. So looking forward to working with all of you. Actually, it was a great pleasure being here, and our Consul General is wonderful too.
Oh, thank you. No, I just want, because I was asked from the organizers to mention also our other activities that we have, especially in this very important year. Why is it important? Last year we have celebrated 30 years of our independence of our state, Slovenia. And this year we are marking 30 years of recognition or US recognitions of our independent states, and 30, this is in April 7th. And of course, establishment of the diplomatic relations between the US and independent Slovenia, which we will mark in August with many occasions. We will inform you via our social medias when you will have the chance on those dates to look at the city halls in our sister cities. and of course Cleveland City Hall to see the Slovenian flag, and to go maybe to pass the Terminal Tower here in Cleveland to see how it shines in Slovenian colors, as we did last year for the 25th of June, our statehood day. Besides that, we just finished celebration virtual this year again for our cultural day. I will use this opportunity to thank again everybody who participated, musicians, schools, narrators, readers, and everybody else who contributed. Thank you so much. We were a little bit tight with the time and the format of the size of the video, so we couldn't have chance to put all the recordings you have sent in, so we choose just one of each of you, so there is a balance, you have to admit. Then now what's coming? Of course, Kurentovanje, we will all follow Kurentovanje events, and we are glad to have it. And nevertheless, it will be half-half, virtual and a little bit also in person. And we congratulate you for the 10th anniversary of this event, and we wish you a long to keep tradition for many years to come. Then we will have a virtual celebration. It will be a big celebration, which is not so common here in the US, but in Europe, yes, International Women's Day. We will present together with the Chamber of Commerce of Parma and the Consular Corp here in Ohio, and other mayors, for example, the businesswomen who are, yeah, in their everyday life. Then we will have again virtual but huge event for the World Bee Day. We will celebrate it a little bit earlier on April 7th, because after that the beekeepers are becoming very busy, and usually they do not have time. And also this year we will, with this summit, which will be as said virtual, collecting money for the school children from not so fortunate families, to offer them education about the beekeeping, about the healthy food, about the products that we produce. Last year it was a huge success. We visited 7 schools in Cleveland, among them also both Slovenian schools in Collingwood and St. Vitus here at St. Clair, actually in Cleveland, together with the Slovenian beekeepers, and showed them tools and some films. They've got some little presents related to the honey products. So we are repeating this. And besides that, on the 21st of May, we are going to have, which is one day after World War Day celebration, we will visit a big beekeepers colony farm in Spencer, Ohio. The host is going to be Wright Queen Colony, and they are offering full day program for the whole family. We will be there with our booth, and also the other consuls of foreign countries, and they will present what are they doing to protect bees, what kind of products do they produce, and etc. Then related to the beekeeping and sustainable development in overall, we are going to have another very nice, to fulfill very nice and take it over to Ohio, very nice initiative of the Slovenian Beekeeping Association. And that will be planting trees or flowers, honeybee friendly flowers. We already agreed with both Slovenian schools to do that, to do a small garden, and in May we will do that in spring, not on the exact day, which is in Slovenia declared for March, because March is too early for Ohio, it's too cold, and the soil is not so warm. And we agreed also with AMLA, American Mutual Life Association, to plant the whole acres along the Highway 90 and mark the bee-friendly landscape, probably with the sunflowers. And we will be also sharing the seeds of the bee-friendly flowers and bees for you to plant to kids, to Parisians, and to others. We intend to have a big action about this. As to the 30 years of recognition and the establishment of the diplomatic relations, I already mentioned it, and we will somehow put it together with the different exhibitions. We plan to have again exhibitions about the Slovenian innovators who contributed to the American science. The exhibition is going to be organized together with the Center for Slovenian Language at the CSU. At the Cleveland libraries at the headquarters. And additionally, since the Slovenian government has declared this year as a year of our most famous architect Plečnik, we are going to hold the Plečnik exhibition, which is prepared by the Slovenian Museum of Architecture and Design in Ljubljana and the Ministry of Culture, and also together with the Center for Slovenian Studies at the CSU, we plan to have a few exhibitions, but first of all, it will be in Cleveland. About, as I said, Plečnik's work, contribution, and also his legacy. And then we have another project which is cultural, and it's called Cankar. Cankar is most famous Slovenian writer. Cankar Goes West. Actually, this project has been launched with the translation of the Cankar's books by many Slovenian professors or lectors, and we are planning to have literature evening, and maybe even a round table to discuss his work with the different literature, maybe even somebody from Slovenia, and exhibition of the National and University Library from Ljubljana about the life of Slovenian women in the USA. And what kind of challenges they had when they entered the US, how their life changed actually, and what their ideas of the life in the US were, and how it turned out later. Very, very interesting exhibition, and I'm already inviting you to visit it when it will come so far. We will inform you about those exhibitions and other events, of course, most of all of our Facebook page and also on our website. We, as to the Slovenian Cultural Garden, we will have again cleaning event and event on the One Word Day, which is usually held in August. And in June, we expect a visit of some experts from the National University Library from Ljubljana, and in person. And of course, we will organize the Statehood Day in June. We don't know yet whether in person or virtual. It's up to the circumstances that there are going to be. And in fall, we will have also probably, it depends on the situation, delegation from Ljubljana for the Cleveland Sister City Conference. The main topic will again be when Ljubljana will participate is sustainable development, and we intend to deepen our cooperation in regards to the beekeeping, and we maybe another still secret information, but still we are trying to get a real Slovenian beehive and a bee house in the cultural garden, either on the roof of the City Hall of Cleveland. As I said, as I mentioned before, I have a meeting with the new mayor Beep this year, this week, and so we are going to see what's gonna be. Besides the mention, we are trying to get going a little bit more active also businesses, economic entrepreneur cooperation between Ohio and Slovenian companies, but also in other states. Wednesday, we are holding the business conference at 3 o'clock. It's also virtual, where we will present the new platform for the businessmen and businesswomen, entrepreneurs of Slovenian origin in all 5 continents. Actually, it will be about the platform called Slovenian Global Network, and its aim is to connect the companies all over the world. It's not only with Slovenia but all over the world. And yeah, of course, we are having a lot of things going on to deepen and to encourage the economic, science, and other cooperation. So far, I think I've been a little bit long, so I will make a period and stop at this point. And we are both looking forward to your question. I hope we will be able to answer them. And thank you for being with us, and that you have taken your time, and that you are following what we are doing, how we are doing. And as I said, we hope we will answer all your questions.
Looking forward then to Monday with all the questions, and we will try to answer them.
Okay. Thank you so much, and have a nice evening. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for that, Consul General. We're here live with the Consul General and Mrs. Turk, who works at the Consul General's office and will often be the first point of contact for those of you who are calling the office. So thank you both for joining us tonight, and thank you for that great presentation. We have some questions for you. So thank you also to everybody who's joining in on our live streams on Facebook and YouTube. One of the questions that we had here was in regards to property ownership. So you had mentioned that Americans, even if they're not Slovenian citizens, can own property in Slovenia. Can you just talk a little bit about taxes, about on owning a piece of property or an apartment in Slovenia, and how one would without paying for taxes or otherwise fulfilling any kind of tax obligation you have on that property?
Yeah, sure. I'm not so sure that I've heard all the questions because we have some interruptions, but in general, yes. Again, thank you for having us again as a consulate, and thank you to let us know to present our activities and what we are doing, as I already said, and so on and so forth. Now, as to the ownership in Slovenia, for example, apartments, even if you don't have a citizenship, you are able to buy it without any problem. Even more, American citizens have, due to the agreement from long time ago, 1883 or something, actually preference of buying under the same conditions as others. That means you don't need to have citizenship, you don't need to have anything. You will be, of course, in the process of buying And after that, register your property. You will have, of course, to bring your identification documents, money, of course, or the bank account, naturally. But there are no other specific requirements for the American citizens. As to the taxes, I also mentioned in our video, the tax administration somehow like to, actually, they want and they require to have everything directly under the control. And we, as a foreign representatives, we are not allowed to do anything about it. We can only advise people. You need, for example, if you don't have your ID as a tax number, in Slovenia, where you can get a form that you have to send it, to fulfill and send. For example, there are different ways of sending them, either via email, either personal, and so on. Either ask somebody to authorize somebody. And then again, with the paying taxes, they make this kind of the decisions, and they inform directly the parties, everybody, even if they are living outside Slovenia. That is, again, I'm returning to the register that I mentioned before. This is important. Why you need to have registered current permanent, or usually it is permanent address abroad, that they can also reach you. Also for other things, not only for you to fulfill obligation, but also for other things.
Thank you for that. We've got a couple more questions streaming in here. Question being, I am a dual citizen of Slovenia. I'm living in the United States. I recently had a child. What would be required of me to obtain citizenship for my infant, my child?
Yes. Just a second. Is there are both parents Slovenian citizens or just one? This is important.
In this case, it's just one, but why don't you talk us through both scenarios?
Okay.
So if one parent is Slovenian, so you contact us, Slovenian Consulate, through email, slowconsulate.cleveland@gov.si. We also, you can find the information on our website. It's called Priglasitev Otroka, and all the forms that are needed for this, they're on website, but also I will explain to you once, if you call me or if you write an email, we'll be happy to get back to you and explain to you exactly what documents you will need together for your child, for your infant. Yeah.
Because it's a little different. Its form is different, and also the documents you need are different. You know, if they are both, and the procedure and the article of the law is different, whether they are both or just one. You know, so but this is everything what you need to follow. And as Nea said, yes, call us. You can also see at our website which one to use. You have everything there explained. So, for example, if, as the question were for this person particularly, they will need to bring also to have a copy of the passport of the American or whatever citizen is the spouse, I think,
Spouse,
and
yeah.
we need to verify it and this kind of things.
The marriage
Certificate,
yeah,
certificate of marriage, for example.
there's quite a bit of documents that need to be gathered. So I would suggest just to contact us, and I will explain exactly what documents they will need. So more than happy to help.
Thank you for that. So I know in the past that we've talked about offline the importance of updating the Consul General's office with any kind of life change event. So can you talk a little bit about, in general, what would need to what would be a qualifying life event? For example, having a child, getting married, divorces.
The most common things are, and people they don't pay attention, is the birth, usually they do register it because they will then ask for the passport or the citizenship or whatever. But the most common thing that they do not report to us and further to Slovenian authorities is marriage or divorce or widow as well. You know, if somebody is widowed, we need to register that. And I think this is the most
Definitely.
often, the case.
Example I'll give, if someone wants to renew the passport and they got married, so they need to first register the marriage into registry.
Yeah.
So they need to obtain the certified copy of the marriage certificate. Yeah. It needs to be translated into Slovenian and then apostille seal. And then in Slovenian registry, they have to make sure that they have the marriage registered, and then they can apply for a new passport, Slovenian passport. Also, the address, as you mentioned before, that's very important, that we haven't filed the current address. We have a form. Also, the document ID, like driving license with the current address, needs to be presented at that time as well.
Some documents with your current address that we can see, because we need to see a formal document for that. Additionally, I would just like to ask, when we are talking about this, to add, the most complicated is to register a divorce. If you're divorced here with the court, with the decision, court decision from the US, the problem is that our court has to confirm the court decision. This is the special procedure that we cannot do for you. You need to do it alone through the Ministry of Ministerstvo za pravosodje is in Slovenia, judiciary ministry. They have all forms in English and Slovenian. It's not a problem, but you need to apply yourself directly or to the court that it is, for example, of your latest address in Slovenia, permanent address, or if you don't have it or you never had it, then of your parents, or maybe the address when you fulfill your election rights, you know, because everybody who has a citizenship, of course, who doesn't, then it's a different story, but the same procedure, more or less.
But here first it needs to be translated into Slovenian. And then we need apostille seal as well.
Again, yeah.
But then all the information, again, you can find on a website for separation documents, for sure. Yeah.
So I'm glad you guys mentioned elections, because we have a couple of questions rolling in about the upcoming April elections. Can you talk a little bit about what dual citizens here should expect in terms of voting? Will they receive information in the mail about how and when to vote? And talk about, in general, the voting process so people can make plans to participate in this election.
Of course, gladly. Now, we have general parliamentarian elections on 24th of April, when our consulate is going to be open for everybody. We wanted to come closer, actually, to East Cleveland, to be more accessible for people, because it's Sunday, maybe after Mass or something like this, that they can come over and vote. But the problem is that we've got actually requirements during the circular note from the State Department in Washington, D.C., and there are so many things and allowances you need to ask for if you moved out of your seat, as the consulate is. So we decided that we are going to hold the elections again at the consulate, not outside, because it's too complicated, and the process, and there are many of them, not only due to the COVID restrictions still, because they are still officially in place, but also as to allowances and the police information and others. So yes, 24th, Sunday 24th, we will be open from 9 till 5 o'clock, which is a regular working hours also at our consulate.
And parking will be available.
Parking is available for free around our consulate, so you are most welcome to come. We are on the 7th floor. You will see our table and directions to access our office. As to the voting right and to implement your voting right, it's again what we are pointing out all the time. I'm like a old, machine. If you didn't register your permanent address abroad, the correct address, you won't get the material for voting. It will go to either the other address, either it will not come at all. This is why it is important. To vote is your right, and it comes out of your citizenship, so use it. And you have right to decide. If the Constitution of Slovenia gives you right to decide about the future of Slovenia with the elections, of course, then use it. Come over and have it. So, and we have two different, I would say, categories. One are permanent residents, which is most of the, for example, Cleveland community. And we have non-permanent, as me, for example. And then the procedure, when can you and what you have to do is different. For all we call them, I am zdomec, we call this, because I don't have permanent residence outside, but in Slovenia. I'm just here and I will stay for a while, temporary resident with the temporary residence. But you are then izseljenci. All the Slovenian citizens who have permanent residence abroad are izseljenci. And as I said, you will get the voting material to your home permanent address here in the US. For those as me, I need to know the commission in Slovenia that I'm gonna vote, that I want to vote abroad and where. And I hope that most of you have registered your address abroad, even if it's for some certain period, that they know when you're going to vote, and that our consulate, for example, is in charge, not the embassy of Washington. Again, why residence, correct residence is important. And then you have more possibilities to vote. You can vote by post, or you can vote in person, coming at our consulate. And this is it.
So the key date here, if I take away one thing out of that, if I want to vote April 24th, right, 9 to 5 at the Consul General's office in Cleveland.
Yes.
Perfect.
Here we are.
Okay, great. Thank you guys so much. We're going to wrap down here. We have another program starting at 7:45. We might be a few minutes late to that one with Dr. Luka Zibelnik. But I want to thank you so much, Consul General Alenka Jerak and Mrs. Turk, for joining us today. It's been a real pleasure. And I want to thank all of our organizers behind the scenes and all of you, our participants, for joining in today. And we hope this was helpful for you. And of course, the Consul General's information and contact info is in the description of the live streams that you're viewing, either on YouTube or Facebook. And I can say from personal experience, this is a bureaucratic office that is more efficient than any other one I've encountered in the US or anywhere else. So thank you guys for all of your help on all different kinds of things, Kręcovania, this and otherwise. It's a pleasure to have you with us, and thank you for your support.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for the invitation in the name of both of us, and see you then in person on Saturday's parade.
Thank you. We also are going to stay here and thank our sponsors and partners for all of their support as well. Let's see here. I'm not sure where that slide is. There we go. Our partners. So these are all the different institutions across town and otherwise who have in some way provided in-kind support for this year's festival. On our next slide, we can see all of our sponsors. Thank you all for your financial contributions. Our costs of producing this festival in a combination of virtual and online are numerous. So we are truly appreciative of your donations to support our volunteer-run and organized not-for-profit event. With that, I also want to invite all of you, our participants, to join the rest of our programming throughout the week. We started yesterday with cooking demo. Today, we had, of course, the Consul General. In a few minutes, we'll be starting with Dr. Alenka Jerak. And then we'll continue on with our Slovenian movie night tomorrow. And you can access that movie, which is called 100% Slovenian, on demand on YouTube. So starting at midnight, tonight actually, it will be available for you to go ahead and watch all throughout the next day, through the next 24 hours, free of charge. Also tomorrow night, if you bought tickets for the Slovenian wine tasting, you should have received your wine in the mail already. Please reach out if you have not, and we'll be doing our wine tasting. On the 23rd, which is Wednesday, we will be joined by the Slovenian Genealogy Society International, who will be speaking to tips on researching your Slovenian heritage. Thursday night, we'll have a virtual concert with Jaime Anji Anzai from Tokyo with his friends, and they'll be playing all kinds of polka music, but mostly inspired by Slovenian polka. Thereafter, on Friday, we have the Jump that's sold out. So if you have tickets, we'll see you there. And if not, plan to join us the next day. On Saturday, we'll start off the day with our 5K. The 5K takes off at 10 o'clock. And then doors or gates open to our outdoor festival at 11 on Saturday as well. And it is all outdoors, so dress warmly and prepare to have a good time. Thank you all so much for joining us tonight. Please see more information on our website, clevelandcurrentofania.com. And thank you again for all your participation. We'll see you soon with Dr. Jerak starting in just a few minutes. Thank you.